ready.
What's up, guys? Dakota here, and welcome back to the Driven Mad channel. So yes, as you guys can tell from the title, we are going to be talking about my first drive in the all-new F-150 Lightning. Now, before we get started, I have to do a huge shout out to Ford and Village Marketing for allowing me to come out to the event. You know, just some dweeb who makes crappy videos about his off-road toys and his sports cars. So again, super grateful for that. So yeah, what I thought we'd do is kind of talk about the truck itself, how it drove, obviously. And do bear in mind that I didn't get to spend, I didn't get to have this thing for a day and take it on all kinds of trips. So it's not like I spent a huge amount of time with it, but I did get a little bit of the driving impressions. So that's obviously what we're going to talk about now that the embargo is lifted, which is the first video that I've ever had to make sure I don't say anything about before a certain time. So it's a little odd. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the F-150 itself. All right, so as you guys can see here, we ended up starting off the day talking to one of the Ford executives, and he was just kind of going over some of the things that you might not think would be a challenge when creating an electric F-150. As you guys can see, it looks very similar. Part of the reason they were able to do that was, one, they obviously didn't want to change it too much, and two, they made that front trunk, they had to actually move things around a little bit to make sure that it wasn't like just a giant square. For example, things like the brake master cylinder, they had to move stuff like that around, as well as some of the steering components, and there still is an electric motor at the front. No matter which one you get, there's a front motor and a rear electric motor in all of the Lightnings. And what's really cool is that front trunk area, compared to most EVs, can actually hold up to 400 pounds, which is pretty awesome, and will definitely come in handy, say, when you're loading up dirt bike gear and things like that. All right, so before we actually get started and talking about the driving experience, which I know most of you guys are looking for, I did kind of want to point out a couple other things. So obviously, with really any electric vehicle, but also with an electric truck, when you load it up and when you're towing something or loading it up with gear, how will that affect the range? That was one of the things that we talked about. And what's really cool about the F-150, now this is also available in the regular F-150, not just the Lightning, but they actually have scales in the truck to kind of measure how much weight is in it, and then from that determine what the range will actually be. So if you want to throw in 2 dirt bikes in the back and then go away for the weekend, you want to be able to know, okay, well, how far can I actually go on a charge? Because if it says 320 miles empty, that's cool, but when you load it down with, say, 500 extra pounds, or you're towing a trailer, how much is that going to get affected? It'll kind of tune itself to try to get as much range as it can, but then it will give you a more realistic range estimate instead of just saying, yeah, sure, 320, and then it actually ends up being like 230. I think that's pretty cool, and that way you can load your truck up and really see how far you can go on a charge, which as you use this thing as a truck, that'll become very important. So anyways, now let's go ahead and finally talk about the driving impressions.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Well, it's wild that it's that quick with zero noise. It's so odd.
And it just keeps going. You're like, wait, what?
Yep. That's awesome.
So since we started off with the launch, which was pretty awesome, but if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, that wasn't the most impressive thing about the new Lightning. Like, it's cool, but every electric car from a dead stop to 60 miles an hour is relatively quick. So they're targeting a 0 to 60 time with the larger battery, which produces 563 horsepower and 775 pound-feet of torque of somewhere in the mid to low 4-second range. It pulls hard, but the most impressive thing is just how its normal driving characteristics were, because it didn't drive like something completely different. It felt very smooth, very mass-produced. It didn't feel like they had just came out with it. When you took your foot off the brake, it creeped up just like you would expect in, say, a regular F-150, and when you use the accelerator, it felt just like a regular F-150. The difference is it's just super quiet. And obviously it's got independent front suspension all the way around. There are 2 different batteries. There is the standard range battery, which gives you about 230 miles of range. Again, both dual motors. And then there's the extended range battery, which gives you 320 miles of range, or 300 or so on the Platinum. Now, the standard range has about 452 horsepower, so it's about 110 horsepower less than the extended range, but still 450 horsepower. That's going to get up and go fairly well. But if it was me, I'd go with the extended range just because why would you not? The regular driving characteristics, it was very smooth, very quiet, very comfortable. And like I said, what I really enjoyed about it is that it just felt like a normal truck that was just extremely quiet. I liked that they didn't try to make it flashy and gimmicky. It was just, you could see it being used by a bunch of different people. It was really nice to use, and it felt like a solid product. All right, so before we wrap everything up, I thought I would just go ahead and show you guys some of the interior features real quick, and then we'll kind of do my final thoughts on the truck.
One of the things that I really like about it is that they made it look like a regular F-150. They didn't try to do anything too crazy, so you still get the regular panoramic roof. The only real big difference here is the screen in the center with that volume knob, which I really like that there's an actual volume knob. So one other thing to point out is that this screen here, the 15-inch screen, is actually standard on the Platinum, but on the Lariat it is an option. Everything else gets the 12-inch normal size screen here. So just keep that in mind if you plan on ordering one of these. This is an option on the Lariat, standard on Platinum, and the other vehicles get the 12-inch screen. As you guys can see, like I said, back seats very similar to a regular F-150, so plenty of space. And you still get the folding shifter as well as the kind of fold out table thing here. So like I said, very normal F-150, but then again, there's no engine and it's super, super quiet.
All right guys, so there you have it. Just a quick sum up of everything on the Lightning real quick. So they both come standard no matter which models you pick with 2 motors. You can get the standard range battery for about 230 miles or the extended range battery with 320. Standard 452 horsepower all the way up to 563 at the moment. And another really cool thing that I want to bring up is obviously the Pro Power on board. That was really cool because you can basically run your house on your truck if you need to, you know, with power outages or say in a hurricane or something like that. That is awesome. So in a power outage, you can just plug your truck up to the house and run basically your entire house off of your truck for 3 days. You can run everything. Or if you ration it out right, it can be up to 10 days. So that's really cool. And I think that's something that from personally, just people that I've talked to, a lot of people are really excited about that because it's such a huge functionality, you know. It can power your house. That's awesome. Another thing it can do is even charge another electric car. They showed us a demonstration of it charging up a Mustang Mach-E. So that's pretty cool. That I'm not sure how often you'd actually do that, but the house thing I think is really awesome. Overall, what did I think of the new F-150 Lightning? I think it's really impressive and I really like it, and I can see a lot of people that I personally know actually wanting to buy one of these. I've already talked to a few people about it because it's the most, to me, out of all the electric cars that are currently available, it's the most realistic for a lot of people. People buy trucks and use them as family vehicles. I think it's a really good electric vehicle for a lot of people. For me, you guys obviously know, being a car guy, I still like engines that make noises and explode. So, but overall, I think it's the most realistic electric car that I've driven in terms of seeing people that I personally know actually purchase one. I could see guys that I work with actually using it as their everyday car. So that's pretty cool. And so real quick before I go, just courtesy, I want to kind of give a quick shout out to the Excalibur on Instagram, aka Big Stu. If you guys don't follow him, don't know why you wouldn't if you like off-road stuff and just overall a good page to follow. He helped me out with some of the pictures and things like that. Super great guy. Definitely a social media guru, if you will. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it insightful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I learned a lot that I'm sure I definitely didn't mention in this video. I didn't want it to be, 25 hours long. So if you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe, and make sure when you do subscribe to click that bell notification so you get notified for more videos. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.